Imagine you're running away from something. You're scared, you're terrified, but you don't know that you're running in the wrong direction. And that thing you're running away from is actually waiting for you on the other side. How would that make you feel? Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to Reflect with Hiba. I am Hiba, and on this channel we reflect on the Quran and see how we can apply it in our postmodern world. The image I put you in the beginning might sound scary and even crazy, but this is actually how Allah describes our relationship with death. On today's reflection, we're diving into ayah number 8 in Surah Al-Jumu'ah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, after أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. Which means, say the death you are running away from will inevitably meet you. Then you will be returned to the knower of the seen and on the unseen, and he will inform you of what you used to do. Technically, no one thinks they can escape death, even the biggest of tyrants. Yet, sometimes our actions seem like we think we are immortal. Why is that so? Death will meet us when we least expect it. But it's not something to be afraid of as much as it is a reality that should drive us to prepare for it and live more purposefully. If you take a moment and actually think about the image that Allah is describing for us, you're running away from something, but that thing is actually meeting you. You're going in this direction, thinking that this thing is behind you and you're escaping, but it's actually already here, and you're just running towards it. It's a beautiful and intriguing image that relates to our nature as humans, and there are multiple reflections to be drawn from it. In today's world, we're taught to live in the moment, and we often try to avoid thinking about death, thinking it's gonna ruin our moment or ruin our pleasure. We get so caught up with our careers, with our aspirations, with social media. Their distractions are pulling us in every single direction, and we tend to forget to think about death and to think about the reality that this is just a phase, and we should prepare for our next home. Instead of scrolling mindlessly on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, a simple change would be to follow accounts that remind you of the afterlife. There are so many scholars and motivational speakers that will get you to reassess your priorities and think about the things that matter. This Ramadan, for example, Yaqeen Institute has a great series with Dr. Omar Sulaiman, and it's all dedicated to preparing for death and for the life of Barzakh. It's not daunting, it's not scary, on the contrary, but it'll get you thinking and it will make you pause and think about the things that matter. I will link the series, inshallah, in the description of this video. Another thing you can do is start integrating small reminders in your day. It's easy to forget about Salah in the midst of a busy day at school or a hectic day at work. So maybe download an app to remind you of the Salah times, and you can even put the notifications on mute so the adhan doesn't go off in the middle of the class or during a work meeting. But no matter what, do not neglect your salah. Make sure you set your priorities straight. Number 2 has to do with our hustle culture. The verse tells us that death will meet us no matter how much we hustle. We can't hustle our way out of it. In a world that revolves all around money, success, and status, we need to take a moment and think why we're doing what we're doing. We should work hard, of course, but without forgetting why we're doing it in the first place. The Muslim community, especially in the West, has a lot of entrepreneurs, mashallah, and that's great. And any entrepreneur out there knows the importance of hustling and working day and night, especially in the beginning stages, to make sure you're setting your business up for success. But along with doing all of that and developing all the skills that are required to do that, make sure that your business is conducted in a way that's pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you are involved in ethical practices, that you are treating your employees in a fair way and giving them fair wages, that the product or the service you're providing is of benefit to people, and that it aligns with your values. Because just like the ayah says, we are running towards our death, and we should prepare for that, whether that's in our businesses or in our relationships or in our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And lastly, accountability. The ayah reminds us that our actions are recorded and we will be held accountable to them. Sometimes we might disregard small actions or bad behaviors as insignificant, like casually lying in a conversation. But actually, every small thing counts. Everything is recorded. Start holding yourself accountable to the smallest of things. And that doesn't mean that you are not gonna sin. We're all sinners. But as long as we are aware of the things we are doing and we are actively seeking forgiveness for it, then this means that our hearts are not dead and we are conscious of our actions. One thing that actually helps is reminding yourself that you could be gone in any moment now. So ask yourself, is this the way I want to go? If I die in this moment, will I die in a state that's pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do I want this action to be the last action that's recorded? If the answer is yes, then perfect. If the answer is no, then immediately try to rectify it. If you catch yourself lying in a conversation, immediately apologize for it. If you catch yourself backbiting, then immediately seek istighfar from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thinking about death all the time shouldn't paralyze us and shouldn't hold us back from living and enjoying our lives. On the contrary, thinking about death should drive us to live more mindfully and to become the best version of ourselves. Thinking about death should inspire us to clean our sins immediately and not let them build up. Share in the comments below one thing you'll start practicing to become more conscious of death. May Allah grant us all long, healthy, happy lives and make us die in a way that pleases Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it for today, and I will see you in the next reflection. Assalamu alaikum.